will definitely happen. I was talking about 6G earlier, which is around 2030. I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface.
Wow.
Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies. It will, first of all, it will
Giving all praises to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai B'Hashem HaKodash. Send double honors to our apostles and elders here at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the Lord's hopefully elect. I saw that video because I was watching Elder Tazadakba's lesson, and he played that video. I didn't know that it was from 3 years ago, but nevertheless, that's what they're pushing for. And he mentioned the 6G. And Trump's House announced this year that they're going to push for what 6G. They want to be the first ones to roll it out. So that's how you know, just because they talking about some 2030 or 2027, don't think you got time, or don't think it's gonna, this devil, he's short on time. So everything he's trying to do, he's trying to make happen fast. And we know that all circles around the book of Revelation. So I talked to my mom about it, because I've been telling her for years, and now she's starting to see it because the time is getting that close. And she's just saying, I don't understand behind it. It's just a weird concept. I don't get it. And I was like, well, that's because you're an Israelite and you have a logical mind. So it's really not supposed to make sense to you. It's not going to make sense. The motives and the actions of this man won't make sense to the rational mind. That's why you got to go to the scriptures, because the Lord, Yahweh, he revealed through his son, Yahweh Shai, by way of the Holy Spirit, the Rakakodash, he revealed the end. He showed it to John the Revelator. John wrote it, and he broke down the explanation behind it. And what moves this man to do what he's doing, Esau Edom, is wrath, anger, and the obsession with control. Because from a rational mind, you might say, why does this man want to control so much about what everybody says, does, thinking he wants to, push technology to get in your body so he can control your movements, your thoughts, or want to control what you buy, sell. I don't understand the concept behind it. Just let people be let people alone. Well, the Lord gave us the scoop as far as why this man is doing what he's doing. And he's letting it be known to the world by way of his prophets as of what's going to happen and why everything is happening. He's giving you the who, what, when, and the where, and the why. And part of that why is because it all goes back to the book of Genesis, the importance of the book of Genesis. Okay, the serpent, which was cursed, came back as Cain, and Cain came back as Esau Edom, and Esau Edom is in the power seat today. Their chief house, which is Amalek, which is a son of Esau, which are the 1948ers, the small hats, the people who call themselves the Israelis. And when you study the nature of these people according to the scriptures, you see that this man was one that does not hate blood. This man loves wars. This man pursued his brother with the sword ever since, because of the blessing. And ever since he's been cursed from the garden, he's been out to prove a point. And he's out to try to be the top creature on the planet. And he's obsessed with control. And the nature of this man is that he will not accept being second place. He will not accept being on the bottom. He will not accept that he has to pay for his own crimes. He will not accept the idea of there being peace. He does not like peace. His concept of control is that he wants to dictate who eats, who drinks, who gets to live, and who dies. And a part of this is that they're trying to steal the blessing which was given to Jacob that they sold, which was, one, you could say, the kingdom of heaven, as well as the land blessing. The people today, they don't understand what's the big deal about them over there in Gaza. Why are they so evil and doing those things, why can't they just come to an agreement? Well, because it's not about peace. It's about expansion. When you look up Genesis, in the book of Genesis, the Lord blessed Abraham and his, which fell upon Isaac and Jacob. The land blessing was from not just only the land of Israel, but from the Egypt, the Nile River, all the way to the Euphrates. That was given to Jacob. The people over there now are not the real people of Jacob. Those are the Edomites. But that's what they want to take. Because in their eyes, they're the firstborn. That birthright belongs to them. So they're seek to take it by force. That's why they call it the Greater Israel Project. The Greater Israel Project is to take the land from the Egypt, the Nile, to the Euphrates, which means there is no peace. They don't want peace. They want complete expansion. They want that whole land mass. Why? Because it goes back to the book of Genesis. If people understood that, then they would understand what fuels these devils to do what they do, to kill and to slaughter and to take. Because that's what they're trying to seek. They're trying to establish themselves in that side of the earth because they're trying to play the part, which they can't. And the Lord's not with them. The book of, and that's just one part. Part of the other part of the kingdom of heaven is immortality. This devil is trying to achieve immortality at the cost of his own life, at the cost of the world. And they want to reserve the immortality to only the wicked elite, and everybody else are just peons that's a slave to the digital system. And that you all, they achieve immortality while everyone else dies. The book of Genesis 3:14, and the Lord Yahweh power said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly thou shalt go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It will bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel, which is future prophesying of what? The dragon and the woman child, which is Jacob, which is the Edomites trying to persecute the Jacob, the enmity between us. And he said that he will be cursed. He will walk on his belly, and he'll be cursed above all cattle of the field. So all the creatures on the earth, he's considered the least, the base, the beneath. And in the law, it tells you, Leviticus 11:42, whatsoever goeth upon the belly, and whatsoever goeth upon all four, or whatsoever have more feet among all the creeping things that creep upon the earth, them shall ye not eat, for they are an abomination. So the serpent was cursed to be an abomination. The book of Genesis tells you that Esau, two manner of people. Romans tells you what? Vessels of honor, and you had a vessel of dishonor. Everything about the Edomites are a dishonor, are abominable, even from the way they look. And they know it. Even their sense of humor is abominable. We all know what their sense of humor is. It all revolves around sodomy and base things. And these Edomites know that, which is why what fuels them to, you could say, oppress and repress is because they want to be the top creature on the earth. They want to prove that no, they're really the right ones, and and Jacob, you're the wrong one. That's why when they had us in slavery, they did all manner of evil to us, and then they tried to justify by saying, well, you're just genetically inferior. Mentally, you're inferior. Everything about you is inferior to me. But in fact, it's actually the reverse. It's the opposite. And they know that, which is why they didn't want us to learn how to read or write or anything like that. They wanted to keep us oppressed because they wanted complete control over us. And in their eyes, just like the world, right, their goal is complete control, right? And it was one thing they did not allow us in the ancient, well, I say ancient, but when they had us in slavery, was to be free. They didn't want us to read, write, or anything like that because they knew by a process of time, we would ultimately free ourselves from them. And everybody knows Esau Edom has a power. He has a power complex. Okay, he wants complete control over everything and everyone in it. He's not okay with the world having access to everything that the Lord has given to us for free, such as food, water, shelter, or anything. He wants that to himself. And he will create wars. He create wars all in to maintain that power. From a logical mind, it doesn't make, what do you mean? There's plenty enough for me, plenty enough for you. You worry about you, I worry about, or we worry about us. And then who knows? We'll come up with a deal. You got your empire, we got our empire, and then Esau says, "No, I want it all. I want to be in control." So when you're thinking about the RFID microchip, the 6G, which they're trying to roll out, which really has nothing to do with your cell phone or speed, it's all about linking your body, to the system. You're sitting there wondering, this is just too much, cross the line, why can't you just be okay? They're like, no, we want complete control. And we want control over you. We want to control who buys, who sells, who eats, and who lives and who dies. That's what we want. Habakkuk 2 verse 4 says, behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. See, it ain't upright in him. So it ain't going to make sense until you understand the devil. And everybody knows these Edomites by now. Everybody knows. They say, okay, you just don't want other people to have. And if they do have, you want to be in control of it. So you will sabotage, you will burn, you will steal, you will create wars to maintain that power. And if anybody gets the bright idea or the wise idea to figure out how to liberate themselves from our clutches or our control, we gonna take care of that. Verse 5, it says, yea, also, because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So this man doesn't know any boundaries, and here's what the brothers found out when you go into this word. Neither keepeth at home, Hebrew word now wa'ah. Down here in the Genesis Hebrew Chaldee lexicon, says the word, it says to sit down, to rest. It says he is a proud man, does not rest. Okay, and they add, but seeks disturbances and wars. That's the Edomites. They want disturbances and wars. They don't want peace. They want to disturb the peace. They will cause a war. They will cause havoc and chaos. All because what? There is order in the earth. If some village or something has order, they want to come and disturb that. They don't want control. They don't want order. When you study, even if you study American law, you're going to find all kind of inconsistencies and holes and things that don't make any sense because there's not supposed to be order. They don't want order. He can't keep it at home. I have this clip. It's regarding segregation. Because in the past, our people was pleading with the Edomites, and they was like, how about you just leave us alone? Because the Edomites were saying we can integrate, etc. We could try to make this work. But our people were saying, how about you just leave us alone? Why we got to be integrated? Right? Even Muhammad Ali, he was like, he talked to one of those Edomites, and the Edomites, like, I think we can come together, work together. We just got to put aside our differences, etc. And he was like, well, how about this? Why can't I just have my own and you just leave me alone and leave us alone? You see, the Edomites, they never entertain the idea. It's just it's always integration. You have to assimilate to us. But the idea of us being free, give us our due, what we're due, and let us go free, that's never an option. Especially not with Jacob, because they know, like, oh no, we can't do that. We can't allow that, because if they was to be honest, they'll say we can't allow that because then you in the process of time, you'll easily overthrow us. You'll easily become better than us. And deep down, all the Edomites know, our people know. So in the eyes of this man, is either I'm in control or there is no order, basically. And what the Lord revealed to us by the scriptures, by John the Revelator and the prophecy, is that Either this man's attitude is either I have complete control over the world and everything in it, or there won't be a world to inhabit.
Bias, segregation's bad. And it's like, yeah, we all agree that, but if it's going to happen, then the form of malicious compliance is to do the thing that racists don't want you to do, which is own your shit, right? Segregation has never been about racist people just wanting black people and other non-white people away from them. Segregation has always been about saying white people have everything and you have nothing. That's why you have things like the Tulsa City Massacre, okay? Things like that don't happen if the only thing segregation is trying to accomplish is putting black people somewhere else. That's never been what segregation is about. Segregation is about saying, we have access to everything, you have access to nothing. And if you create your own things, we will take it from you. And so it's funny, the joke is that racist white people demanding a return for segregation would immediately lose their minds when there was a space that they were not allowed into.
And that's how these Edomites are, even when it comes to this truth. Hey, what's that? What's this you're teaching? We're teaching the Bible. Hey, I'm looking at the 12 tribe chart. I noticed that I'm not on there. Why is that? Well, because you're not an Israelite. You're, in fact, the Edomites. You're Jacob's brother. You're the Edomites. And the kingdom of heaven is only for the Israelites, according to the scriptures. Then it's, okay, well, if I'm not included in it, then it has to go. That's his attitude. That's why Vocab Malone's so angry. His attitude, either I'm in it or it has to go. Either it includes me or it has to go. Period. Just like that clip, which I still have. Okay. I didn't have it, but I had the video. But this was on, this is back in 1995 when Jesse Lee Peterson brought the brothers on. And there's this Edomite asked this question.
Now God brought
I'm coming to my question now. Okay, that's a good answer. Now I'm coming to my question. Is there anything that white men can do, individual white men can do? Is there anything individual white men can do to please their God and not suffer wrath?
Okay, the answer to that question is no, and I'm going to show you why. The answer is no, and I'm going to show you why.
Well, then my question is...
Well, you already... Let me answer that question.
If there's no way that I can...
Hold up. See, let me answer the question.
If
Okay?
there's no way that I can please my God, what should keep me then from nuking all of you? Because we do have the nukes.
No.
Why don't we just take our armies now and our nukes? We're in charge and kill everybody.
Listen, that's
who's
what
black.
the so-called white man's doing. He's practicing...
You see, that's their attitude. This is why when everything that's going to happen in this world today, from the microchip to the control to sabotage to killing Palestinians to invading sovereign countries and sovereign nations like Venezuela and World War III over Iran oil, that's his attitude. Attitude is either I'm in control, I'm in charge, or it's nuclear missiles, it's a war. That's his attitude. And from a logical mind, okay, you might say that doesn't make sense. Just mind your own business, leave it. But we just read he neither keepeth at home but seeks disturbances. Even in this truth, it's either the Most High and His Son look like me, and I'm the angels, or there is no God. Okay, because they don't believe in the Most High either way. But they say if He does exist, then He looks like me. He agrees with me and my nature and who I am. Otherwise, I'm gonna kill. I'm gonna kill everybody. I'm gonna kill everything. And just like Nick Rockefeller told Aaron Russo, he said we want people in microchips. And even he said, but you have all the money in the world. You have everything you could possibly want. Why don't you just enjoy your life for you and your family? He said, we want people in microchip. We want people under control. It's not going to make sense to a logical mind, but when you understand the scriptures, then you understand that this man was cursed. It goes back to the book of Genesis. He was cursed as a serpent. He was considered abominable. Okay? So ever since he's been out to prove his point, you work long enough with a bunch of Edomites, you see exactly what motivates them to do the things that they do, because they think that everything is a damn competition. They think everything you do, you're trying to one-up them. And they all, it's just like, dang, y'all always out to prove something. Yeah, that's because they've been cursed from the beginning. Cain the same way. And we know what Cain did, right? He slew his brother And what does the scripture tell you about that? What's the reason behind that? As 1 John chapter 3, verse 11. For this is a message that you heard from the beginning, that we should love one another, not as Cain, who was of that wicked one, and slew his brother. And wherefore slew he him? Because his own works were evil and his brother's righteous. So Abel lost his life by doing the right thing. Cain murdered him because Cain's works was rejected because he was being selfish. He brought fruit, and Abel said, no, the Lord deserves the first of the flock. So the Lord respected Abel, and Cain, he's like, nah, man. And he told Cain, he said, you mad? He said, if you just do the right thing, you'll be accepted too. So he was given equal opportunity too, as you can say. And then his response was, I'm going to slay my brother Jacob, because his insecurity says that you was received and mine wasn't. So I'm just going to lash out and I'm going to kill you. Now, what if we told you that the Spirit revealed that Cain, that same person that's back today, is Esau, Edom? Which is what the Spirit revealed. Everything, it all goes back to the book of Genesis, which Genesis means the beginnings. And even in these beginnings, the end was foretold. Genesis 27, verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. That's Cain in the reincarnation. And when you read the scripture, the Lord cursed Esau and said he hated Esau because he's pursued his brother with the sword ever since. That's what slavery is all about. And everything they do is to try to what? Say that it's because we're better than you, we're inferior to you. And the Most High created blacks to serve the whites, etc. That's all BS, because they know it's actually the opposite. So they're just trying to project their inferiorities, if that's a word, onto us and say, no, it's because you were born and genetically you're inferior, you can't do this, you're not smart, etc. But the nature itself, truth shows itself that in anything we put our hands to do, we exceed. And they know that, which is why they fight and quest to do what? Control. Revelation chapter 12. Verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast out of the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. Because that's what Cain did. Oh, I'm rejected? Well, it's over for my brother. Because the woman represents Israel and the woman child represents Yahweh Shai, and we are the children, the Israelites. From, like I said, trying to steal the land from Gaza, in Gaza, trying to steal that whole land, invading Venezuela, going to World War III. All of that is just because they want control. They don't want peace. They don't want to share. No, they're not doing none of that. They want to take the blessing. They're like, look, I'm the older brother. This land belongs to me. The quest for immortality and trying to fuse. And here's the thing. You might say, okay, that's cool. But what they got to do with me, or what we're telling you, is that they're going to try to force it upon you. They're going to try to mandate upon you, just like they did the jab. Remember, the jab, at first they said, you ain't got to take it if you don't want to. It's just for the people who want to take it. And they made them feel good about it. But then the following year, they said, all right, enough's enough. You're going to have to take this or else. Even when as far as saying, if you don't take it, you don't get to participate in society, etc. Now, you would think the logical person, man, look, if I don't want to take it, then that's just on me, right? I'm taking all the risks on my own. Let me take the risk on my own. No, because he want to control you. He want to tell you what to do, what you put in your body. He want to dictate your health when he says it. He don't want people to have a choice. He wants people to bow down. He wants to be the God. So the fusion of the bodies and the microchips and the putting people on the 6G and forcing people, eventually it's going to be forced and it's going to invade. right? And you may say, well, wait a minute, I don't want to take no chip. I'm okay using my bank card. I don't want no. They're gonna say, you're gonna have to take this. Why? Because he's obsessed with control. He wants to be the Heavenly Father. He's the most base creature on the earth, so he's out to prove that he's the top creature on the earth. So he's coveting after the Most High seat. So it ain't supposed to make sense from a logical mind, but that's why you got to understand who it is you're involved in. Just ask yourself, why did Cain slay his brother? And then just know that the Lord is the one that put that person in rulership at the end. And he know he's at the end. That's why he's moving very fast. Cutting the food stamps and all these things. You sitting there saying it don't make sense. These people need it ain't supposed to make sense. He wants control. All right. And in order to do that, he needs to create a dependency. He need the people begging, so that when he introduces his new way, the majority will volunteer before he forces the wrath. That's what he wants. He don't want everybody to eat. You can look that up. It was America and the U.S. It was America and Israel, the only two countries that voted that food is not a human right, a fundamental human right. They don't believe that. That's the devil. They said no. Look up the Georgia Guidestones. What's the first rule? Maintain humanity under 500 million, which what they believe. They said what? In perpetual balance with nature. What's the second rule? The second rule basically says they want to control who lives and who dies, who procreates, etc. This is what they want. Control. They want to prove that they are the top creature on the earth. And if they can't have their way, then what's just stopping me from nuking the whole planet? As you heard what the devil said. And what if we told you that same man, the Lord gave him power in the end days, and the wrath that he's about to bring on the earth is all due to him knowing that his kingdom is at an end. So he's reacting how he reacted in the ancient, which is with wrath. Okay, Daniel 4:17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and by the demand of the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and set up over it the basest of men. Base. Esau Edom is base. He's low. He's the bottom, and he knows that. And just like Rome fell, if you look at one of the reasons Rome fell, one of it is military overreach. They're spreading themselves thin. That's what America's doing now. All in attempts to maintain control. All because they don't want this country to use their own natural resources, or this country to be too developed before them. It's just how Rome fell all over again. All in the quest to achieve power. See? And control. This is what John the Revelator saw. This is why the Lord used his Holy Spirit to bring out the book of Revelation's breakdown in the end days, because we are in those times. This wicked man is being revealed, this great dragon. And he's going to allow the dragon to touch 2/3 of his people because of our people's hypocrisy. So he gave us the understanding as of why this man is doing everything that he's doing. You see? So you got to get hip to the scriptures and the word to understand what it is that's happening. And then in doing so, you could prepare yourself spiritually to know, like, yeah, we at the end days here. Okay? Meaning everything's about to come to an end. And you're going to need to seek Yahweh Shai for protection, because when he comes down with great wrath to try to enforce that chip, you want to be hid in the evil day. You need the Lord to guide you and to protect you in that day. See? With that, shalom.